Well, happy Manic Monday with Derek Demore, Futures Demore, and Futures Networks Live. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. It's April 26th, and we're going to go over OB and what we had set up. Now, as you can see, really wanted to get in about 10 minutes prior when it's touching the 10 period EMA. We had a nice run, came back and touched, but nope, opening bell. I didn't get in, kind of waited. And honestly, I'm thinking about two different things. One, I really want a discount. I want to get in at a discount. I didn't want to get in a market, but we have two things that we're trying to establish. What does market give us consistently if we just get in at market? And then what would my limit orders give? So today is kind of one of those days where I think I'm going to start showing the difference and having two sets of data. And that way we can establish what to do and how far out should I go with my limit orders. So anyway, let's see what we did and go from there. Now, as you know, I do a profit of 8 and a loss of 4 points on the MESES. I do a profit of 24 and a loss of 12 on the NASDAQ. And I do a profit of 10 and a loss of 5 on the Russell. Now, for whatever reason, the Russell, even though it's in the 2200 range and the S&P is in the 4200 range, this should be double the points every time. But this one is outdoing points. Like if you can see this candlestick, 2280 to 84, that's 4 points. And this one is 7350 to 7650. So it's 3 points. So the candles are bigger on the Russell, where they should be about half in terms of just the price action scale. For instance, the NASDAQ is roughly 3.5 times price action of the S&P, and it does. It's typically 3.5 to sometimes 7, in terms of the amount of price action per point that we get. So anyway, that's just a little side note. So wanted to get in at these points, and I'll show. I kind of had it. So this is market, right where we see the entries. You'll see them. Sorry, I adjusted that one. So at market, what ended up happening is I got stopped out for 12 points on the NASDAQ really quickly. The M2K, I ended up taking 2 at 9, because you can see I took 1 at 9 here, 9 points. Okay. It kind of bopped around and I said, I'm going to take the other. If this doesn't get above this during this candle, I'm just going to take 9. So I took 9 there. And that was a good thing, because then it came out and went down and would have stopped me out. Now, what I did on the ES-MES is I was going for 6 point, even though normally I go for 8. I was trying to get to 84 and it never got me to 84. So what I did is I put my stop below this this wick right here at 78.75, and I got stopped out. So my entry was 78. I only made 3/4 of a point on 2 contracts, but I protected myself. Now, long term, that was probably a bad decision, as we'll see, because 78 and I would have still been in at an 8.4. And it did turn around and go up. And now this is where we're at currently in the price action. So, I would have gotten my 84. And so that's, I got out too early. But let's look at, so I'll show you the box for what was the market and what I did and how I corrected. And we're positive on the day, but barely. And so it was kind of a wonky day, not a lot of price, but then it moved up. Let me show you if I did my limit orders where we would have ended up. Okay, so now you can see we're going to go down the markets in the same risk management. It would have taken me a good, until the 950 candlestick to get into my S&P trade. But you can see I go a half a point below the market at certain points for a limit order, and I would have had a DCA sitting right at the tops of all these. So I would have had probably gotten in only 1 contract here, maybe 2, and then DCA'd 2 more down here. Got in, and we filled 10 minutes later, touched, and then kicked up and filled on the next candle. So that would have been a winner on both. On the NASDAQ, the opening bell was right here, and I would have had to wait 5 minutes to get in on this candlestick or this candlestick, either one. And then it launched up and gave me my 24 points. So that would have been a fill on both of those. Probably just would have taken 24 on both. On the Russell, there was a spot at which I really liked. I may have gotten in a little bit. You can see the blue arrow. That's actually where I had a limit order sitting. Finally got into it. Now, technically, it didn't quite get there. We got literally 3/10 away from filling on this last candlestick. But as you can see, I would have probably been out at 91.50. I would have taken 9 points on those, especially being up and winning on both of these trades. Well, this one would have taken a while to get in. So we would have been in the same area going, hey, we just fill on this one. Probably would have taken 9 and been happy, not quite getting to my 10 points. And that would have been a great day, almost the complete trifecta. So that's a little bit longer day in terms of explanation, but waiting for my limit orders, I really like this. Now we're looking at an all-time high right here pretty soon. If this breaks above, get ready for some price action today on this. So in review, I'm going to be doing 2 sets of data going forward to see which one ends up being better overall, just going with market each day or going with my limit orders and the direction that I pick. I'm going to also, if I see a market that I think is going to go short, I'm going to just do that in my pick one. So it's going to be more of a free for all, kind of a random exploration. Let's put it that way. All right, let's see how we did at the close and where we're going today. So as you can see, I've drawn a channel. Not surprising where this ended up. I think that was my third. If I had 3 choices, that would have been my third. You can see the wicks, but definitely, shot up. I was going for a home run, like way up here, and it did bust above that. So, split the uprights on the Russell, starting with the Russell first. Where is this going to end up? Now it kind of hit the peak of a spot that we have been looking. Is that it for the day? It could be, but let me look at this a little bit more closely. So to me, this is one of those, if we're done for the day and turning around, it's most likely going to end up testing this area down here. But if we break through, then we're obviously going to go up a little bit higher. So this is kind of my 2 picks for the Russell. Now look at that. I actually nailed the MNQ, man, as perfect right in the middle of the diamond. So that one, that's just what I saw. Let's see where we end up today. Kind of the same feeling that if we break through, get past this 13,980, come up, touch the all-time high, bounce off, and be right in that area, we could break through. But if this is it for the day, we're going to turn around and probably end up back in this area. All right, let's see the S&P, and we're done. Similar look, hit almost the center of the circle. This one went up higher and pulled back more right at the end of the day. We're coming up against some tough stuff. So let me try to decide what to do. So kind of the same thing. If we break through all-time highs, then 4,200 is in the cards. And then the blue dot. If we don't, and we're going to pull back, then I see us ending the day around 4170, 150-ish. So let me pull that down a little bit. All right. Hey, a couple things. I want to show you the totals. And one other thing on the 60-minute, if we can do that real quick. It was actually on the 4-hour, my attempt at predicting when. This was back, oh my gosh. I think it was way back in this area. So this would have been right around April 5th. I had put a ball when we were going to hit 4,200. This was Stoney's and this was mine. And we obviously didn't hit it. It didn't break through, but it looks like I might have been off by half a day kind of thing. So If that was on a daily chart, might have gotten it right. We'll see. If it breaks through this 4186, I think we have a chance to hit it today. All right, so this is how it would have ended. Basically, on 426, the market entries, we have plus 3/4 of a point on both contracts, losing 12 points on the NAS and gaining 9 points on the Russell. Gives us negative 2.25 points, but positive in the ampersands. So that's really good. Positive, quote unquote, currency units, and yet negative on points. Now, with my limit orders that I talked about in the video, we would have been 8, 24, and 9 for almost max profit, 41 points, 266 currency units, or 2,660 with the ratio. So we're going to keep a look at this, and going forward, especially in May and June, seeing which ends up being better, just to get in at market and let the things do what they're going to do, or wait for limit orders and potential, missing out on some trades. And we'll only go until 7 o'clock. So anyway, thanks for being a part of Futures Networks Live and Futures to More. Happy to make positive points for breakfast, and we'll see you tomorrow.